Like a lot of my high school friends, we have a really big high school. It was like over 4,000 kids. I went to Yale. So there was a whole bunch of people who came with me. And so it wasn't that much of a difference to come here from Chicago just because I already knew a lot of the kids that were freshmen as I was a freshman. The girl that I dormed with was actually like my best friend since like third grade. So we were both like, we were tight before we even like entered. As a freshman, you go through all these new milestones, and so you form this type of special intimacy and like vulnerability, just because we're all going through the same situation of like leaving home for the first time, and like having to dorm, and having to go to school and then come back and not be with your like parents.
Alright, but what's up? I'm Andres, I'm a junior. I major in cognitive neuroscience and pre-med.
I'm Saeed, junior, major in political science, and minor in art design.
I knew like 4 people from my high school, but they were not really my close friends, they're just people that I knew of. But yeah, just like knowing them, they were like probably the first group of people that I really talked to because they were like my first connection here. Cause I'm like, when I first got here, it was just kind of like, you're just trying to find your place in school, and it's kind of hard living in a dorm and making friends sometimes. Just connect with people I kind of knew from back home.
I like knew a bunch of kids from school, and there's a bunch of kids from Chicago who are coming here. But I really only hung out with like a few people. Like one kid from my high school, him and he's like my roommate now, and then like just like a bunch of like my friends from Chicago, just like all happened to live in the same dorm as me for the most part. So we just got really close through that.
Honestly, probably like my job. I really enjoy where I work. I work at the Red Herring, and
How long have you been working there for?
I've been working there since freshman year, like second semester. And it was just one of the first places where I really felt like really comfortable, and everyone there like was always really supportive of everything that I do. Really interested in like what I'm into and all that.
I guess for me, I don't know. It sounds kind of corny, but like the first time I went to like a party in Urbana, just happened to go to a party with like a bunch of kids. Like we're kind of like from Chicago, like we're just more interested in like stuff that I was interested in. Cause like the first few weeks here, I was like whenever I went out, I was typically only going to frat parties because those were just like the most like advertised parties and like the most like college friendly, I guess. But then one of my friends like from high school, her older brother went to school here. He was a senior my freshman year, and like he invited me to a party, and like that was like the first time that I guess I felt like at home here. Just like a lot of familiar faces, but Urbana's kind of changed a lot since I was a freshman.
It's kind of the same question of like, what do you say your major is even to your friends? Like, how do you explain new media to people? Because like, every time I explain it to people, it's a different, like, it comes out differently every single time. So, especially with my parents, like I explain it to them, and they're always like, "Okay, God, we believe in you, we trust you," but it's never like, it's so hard to like pinpoint it and be like, especially like, this is what I'm studying, this is what I'm gonna be with new media. So I don't know. they're supportive, but
That's
I
good.
don't know.
That's good.
What about you?
Me? I don't know. They always like question me whenever I come back home. They're always like, "What? Like, what is new media? Like,
Yeah.
what are you specifically doing? Like, in order to get money? Like, kind of type."
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like I don't. It's like such like a broad genre, and like
Mhm.
I'm still exploring like so many options. It's like never set in stone. Like as it currently is right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like they're supportive, of course, and like I do show them like my efforts. So like I feel like it's getting to be like a little bit like two-sided now, like more even in terms of like understanding, I guess. Yeah, I know. It's like a misconception with my parents, like what is lazy to them and like what is like self-care like to me. Like it's like totally like different.
I feel like right now my main interest is just like throwing shows and managing artists and just being in the music industry. It has nothing really to do with what I'm majoring in. But that doesn't say that that's not to say that I'm not interested in what I'm majoring in. It's just something that I'm not trying to do right now. School. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, like I have the minor in art and design, which is kind of cool, but like political science, like has like nothing to do with like anything that we do in Nevada.
I decided what I wanted to major in when I was a senior, and deadass I was just like applying to colleges, and I had no clue what I wanted to major in. So I just looked at like a list of like popular majors, and like then I saw like a fucking video of like it was like a crash course on psychology on like the brain. I want to know people. You feel me? In terms of like my interests. I started throwing shows like freshman year, and I think that's really what got me into the music industry, just throwing parties for the local radio station.
I don't know, like for me, I kind of knew I wanted to do political science for a little while, just because like my parents are like super like hardcore like Democrats, and like the only thing they watch is the news, and like all they talk about is politics. So it's kind of like ingrained in me, and I was like, it was just super interesting to me. It's kind of fun, but in terms of like interests, like I don't know, like in high school, I think like my junior, senior year of high school, I started like making music. And then like, I think my junior year, I got my first camera and I started taking a lot of photos then. And then like, kind of just like, when I got here, I was kind of just looking for people to do that with. And then like, I just like, since I made music, I produced music, I kind of naturally just started DJing, like the music I would make. And then I just figured out like, why not just do it at parties?
In terms of school, I think my parents were like really happy that I decided to go into like the pre-med path. In terms of my hobby of throwing shows, at first they were a little bit like not worried, but they're just like they didn't believe that that was like a possibility for my career. But I think after like I showed that I was a little bit consistent with it, and I like proved to them that I was throwing shows, they were more open to the idea.
So I know like that like most people that you've mentioned, like Brandon for example, like he's first generation, like you're first generation, you're first generation. How do you think that's like affected your guys' friendship or relationship? Has like it made you closer? Has it like made you want to expand?
I don't know. I feel like definitely between me and Saeed and also like Mariana, our other roommate, I feel like there's just like a strong connection because we have a similar like shared life experience of just like being one of the first people in our family to go to college. Yeah, I think it definitely can contribute to the bond we have as roommates.
Yeah, I think like, I mean, just like as like first generation kids, especially like kids like from like developing countries, like it's just like, there's just like shared experience because like usually like typically grow up with like parents who like are typically like stricter and just like are like see like you, I don't know, like things like making music and like doing art and stuff like that is kind of taboo, and like I don't know, just like a complete shared experience.
I mean, I'm sure there are a lot of groups on campus. I know there's a lot of like cultural houses, like La Casa, which focuses on helping like Latinx students. So I'm guessing there are like groups, but I'm definitely not part of any organizations on campus that help out or like give resources to first gens. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I totally agree with that. I don't know, the way campus is kind of linked to such a small amount of minority students here, especially first generation, that like I think there's just a tendency for them to like group together, and like I have absolutely nothing against that, but I feel like I don't know, like in terms of Urbana, it's really just like white kids running everything, and it's kind of cool like for us, like, especially this house, kind of feels like a super diverse place because like, and it feels like we're like some of the few people on campus that are like throwing parties that have like really no type of like ethnic majority, like if like whenever we throw a party, like it's just kids from all around campus and like kids from all different backgrounds. Which is like, I don't know, I think like it's something that we strive for, but like we don't like have it like overtly out there.